Hello there, good morning. Let's not waste any time, shall we, in keeping you in suspense. Arne Slot, we can tell you, will begin his Liverpool career this season with a trip to Ipswich Town. It is their first Premier League game for the Tractors since 2002. Portman Road, the destination for the Reds' first game of the new season. They, of course, back in the big time after finishing second in the Championship last season. Neil Mellor is here, and of course you made your Liverpool debut against Ipswich, Mel's.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago now. Yeah, I mean, it was a cup game back then. I mean, Ipswich Town, a lot has happened since then. Great to see them back in the Premier League. They're a big football club, we have to say that. It will be a tough game. It'll be a tough atmosphere. We've seen that with newly promoted teams in the past. The fans will really make it difficult for us, but great to have the fixtures back out, and a newly promoted team seems to always happen, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and Mike Reid from Opta is with us to talk about just that, because as we say, Liverpool no strangers to playing a newly promoted team on the opening day. You can talk us through this, but 5 out of the last 6 seasons that has been the case.
Yeah, it's so strange really. That's last season was the only exception with the Chelsea game. Other than that, the previous 4 were all against promoted teams. Now this season, before that, it was only one of the previous 24, so the rate of facing promoted teams has increased. Don't know why. Someone just decided Liverpool are getting promoted teams on match day 1.
OK, let's take a look at the entire fixture list for Liverpool then. I'm going to talk you through every single game, so bear with us. There's 38 of them here. Let's just take a look. Obviously, as we say, it is, of course, Ipswich first away, then it is Brentford at home, the first Anfield game for Liverpool on the 24th of August. A very early trip to Old Trafford. It's Manchester United away on the 31st. Then 2 back-to-back home games, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, both at Anfield. Then 2 games on the road for the Reds. It's Wolves and Crystal Palace, followed by 2 tough fixtures, Chelsea at home, and then the first trip to the Emirates, Arsenal for Liverpool. That is on the 26th of October, followed by a home game against Brighton, that on the 2nd of November. Moving on to the 9th of November, and it's Aston Villa at Anfield for the Reds, followed by Southampton. Manchester City then at the first trip to Anfield for City, the 30th of November, that one then. It is away to Newcastle United and Everton as well on the 7th of December, followed by Fulham at Anfield, Tottenham away, Leicester at home, West Ham away, and Manchester United at Anfield just after Christmas on the 4th of January. Then it is Nottingham Forest away, Brentford away for Liverpool, Ipswich at home on the 25th of January. Bournemouth away, Wolves at home, Manchester City. The Reds go there on the 22nd of February. Then it's Newcastle at home, Southampton at home on the 8th of March, Aston Villa away, and then Everton come to Anfield on the 2nd of April. And let's take a look at how the season closes at a fairly tough run in. We'll get to that in a moment. But Fulham away on the 5th of April. Then it's West Ham at Anfield on the 12th. Leicester City away, followed by Tottenham at home on the 26th of April. Then it's a trip down to London to face Chelsea on the 3rd of May. Then the Reds entertain Arsenal at Anfield on the 10th of May. How crucial could that one be this season? Then it is away to Brighton, and the Reds finish off the season at home to Crystal Palace. So Ipswich first up, and this is what happened. Cast your minds back quite a few years now when the two sides met back in 2001, 2002, and they were pretty good results, Mels. Talk us through these.
Yeah, some classic footage for you. Here we go. So Ipswich have had a long wait. This is how long it's been since they were last in the Premier League. They got relegated this season. What an away win. This one was 6-0 away at Ipswich back in the February. Look at some of the players playing. Abel Xavier, he didn't get many for Liverpool, did he? But there you go, he got himself a goal on that occasion. Heskey and Owen up front. Round about this time, I remember coming through the youth team, and I was training with the first team at this point, and Michael Owen and Heskey, and thinking, this is a really good side. We just won the treble the season before, but I mean, this doesn't happen often, does it? To go to an away game, any away game, and win so convincingly the way we did in 6. But I think it'll be a lot tougher. First game of the season, Ipswich, having been out in the Premier League for 20 years now. This was a tough season for them. They were pretty much down there all season, weren't they? But a lot of changes happened. There was a lot of uncertainty as well at Ipswich this summer with the manager. He's dedicated his future, so I think that's good news for them. So 6-0 away and 5-0 at home. We'll take that again, won't we?
Certainly will.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it will be difficult. John Analyse used to love getting his top off, didn't he, Ginge, with the physique he had. There we go, another decent strike from John Analyse. So yeah, I mean, great to see some of the old footage here, but yeah, it will be a lot tougher. Titus Bramble, remember him back in the Ipswich days? Our absolute stinker. Michael Owen in front of the Kop, of course. So yeah, I mean, this is how long it's been since they were last in the Premier League. Vladimir Smicer, his last goal was Istanbul, 2005. Remember that one? There we go. Yeah, this was one. And a rare score. Here we go. Nicholas Anelka did score for Liverpool at Anfield in front of the Kop against Ipswich. That was a long time ago. Let's see who gets the goals this time around against Ipswich.
Seems like an awful long time ago.
Yeah,
Tell you what, we take a repeat of either of those two results on the opening day, wouldn't we? Let's take a look at how the opening day actually looks for everyone across the Premier League. The season kicks off, we can show you here on Friday night. Manchester United at home to Fulham. City are at Chelsea. Mel's, there's quite a few standouts there. What stands out for you?
Well, I'm scratching my head thinking, how have United been selected for the first game to kick the season off? But the one that stands out to me is Chelsea versus Manchester City. We went there first game. It was a difficult game, wasn't it? It was 1-1. So you're thinking for City, that's a really tough start as well for them away at Chelsea. Everton at home to Brighton as well. But yeah, I mean, 12:30 kick-off. It started already, hasn't it? We had 6 last season and we've got 1 already first game.
It has indeed. Mike, we spoke about Liverpool often facing newly promoted teams on the first game of the season, but you've been doing some digging on the stats as to how Liverpool have done on opening days recently.
Yeah, the recent record is actually fantastic. In fact, it's arguably the best in the Premier League. It's 11 games unbeaten Liverpool are on the opening day of the season. We've got the list of the 11 and then the 12th back there. Brendan Rodgers' very first game as Liverpool manager in the Premier League, a 3-0 defeat to West Brom. We hope Slot's first game isn't a similar result, but there's the 11 unbeaten, which is the longest ongoing run in the Premier League on match day 1. Now if we can look, you can see how good Liverpool's record is, and here's in Premier League history how it stacks up in terms of points per game. This is at least 2 games from teams. Liverpool have the 3rd best record on the opening day in terms of points per game, and actually the fewest defeats in this table, only 4 losses in 32 games, so we hope for Arne Slot in his first game that carries on.
And someone who is very up for the opening day, he's up for every game really, isn't he? But talking about individuals, Mo Salah has a wonderful record on the opening day of the season.
Remarkable, frankly. In only 7 games, he's actually averaging more than a goal a game on the opening day. We can see in this table, there's 7 games, 8 goals, as we say, which is the joint most of any player on the opening day in Premier League history. If you add it to the 4 assists, that's 12 goals and assists, so he needs 1 more to equal Wayne Rooney's record, but he's had fewer than half the games that Wayne Rooney's had, and we've got some great Premier League goal scorers from years gone by, Teddy Sheringham, Lampard, Shearer. Look how few games Salah's had compared to them.
Yeah, Mo Salah's obviously had a rare summer off for him as well, so he's going to be chomping at the bit to get back. And I suppose as a striker, there's nothing better than just getting off the mark in that first game.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get off to a good start, and scoring goals is what Mo Salah's done consistently, time and time again. And he's one of the few players actually this summer that doesn't have that international tournament football. The Euros are on, of course, and the Copa America as well. So he will be the fresher out of the attacking players. I mean, this was one of his first goals for the football club away at Watford, remember that one. But yeah, any centre-forward wants to start the season well, but in particular Mo Salah, he seems to have that consistency about him on opening day. And we'll need that. You know, we will need Mo Salah's goals again this season, the importance of that. He missed the most Premier League games he's missed last season. He missed 6 in total, so hopefully he doesn't have any kind of issues this season with injuries. Of course, AFCON was last season. That was a little bit disruptive to his season. I mean, the COVID is still painful to watch, isn't it, Joe, when you see the stands completely empty? Hopefully we don't experience that again. But that was a hat-trick opening day against Leeds United, another newly promoted team. So we're talking about Salah doing really well. And he does really well against these newly promoted teams, Norwich away. So that'll be similar to the Ipswich game. You know, a tough game for us to start with. This one away at Fulham, just won the Community Shield, of course, against City ahead of this game. Gets himself a goal and assist in the game as well. Didn't score last season, but what about this for an assist? Oh, unbelievable. He actually hit the bar in the game as well, Mo Salah. So didn't score last season, got an assist. let's hope he gets himself a goal first game this season.
Absolutely, he will be itching to get back, I think. So Mo Salah, of course, enjoys the opening day. What about the new boss, though? Mike has been taking a look at how Arne Slot fares on the opening day of the season. Mike.
Yeah, we've got here the list of his games on the opening day in the Eredivisie. So he had 2 clubs in the top flight, AZ Alkmaar and Feyenoord, and you can see he never lost, 3 wins and 2 draws on the opening day of all his seasons in the Eredivisie with those 2 clubs. So yeah, just like Liverpool, Slot's got a good record, so hopefully those 2 things will carry on. And if we look at also Liverpool new manager debuts, manager's first game in charge, this isn't such a good sign. Klopp, we know, didn't win his first game in charge. Remember that against Tottenham in 2015. We mentioned earlier Brendan Rodgers against West Brom. Kenny's first game back in charge of his second spell was actually a loss to Blackpool. Roy Hodgson, that draw with Arsenal, I remember Joe Cole getting sent off that game. So the last to actually win was, technically it was 2 managers in one. It was when Hooley and Evans had their first game as joint managers. So not the best of records on debut for new managers in the Premier League era for Liverpool.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Miles, because it is just so important, isn't it, to get off to a good start. And it sends out a real message, doesn't it, I think? But it's gone pretty well in the last 6 seasons.
Yeah, I think so. I think momentum's a big word used in football, and it certainly is at the start of the season. You want to start the season off to a good start. It gives everyone confidence and belief. You can see here that the previous 6 seasons and the final position with how we start games. I mean, look at that, 2019-20, we won all 6 games, and look where we finished. We're in the top 2, and that's the difference. You know, if you're winning 5 or 6 games, you're going to be right there in the mix. Even last season, I felt as though it was a good start. Maybe a bit unfortunate to get a draw at Chelsea, but the next 5 games, we went on to win, and final position 3, but we were in that title race up to 7-8 games to go. So it makes a big difference, and also a new manager, the confidence, the belief that will give everybody if we can get off to a good start.
Yeah, that would be the perfect scenario, wouldn't it? Okay, let's get into some of the big dates now for your diary. The games against Everton, firstly, Mike, will be on, let's have a look, December the 7th, the final Merseyside derby ever to be played at Goodison, and then home at Anfield on April the 2nd.
You mentioned that Goodison, Liverpool of course lost that exact fixture last season, the first defeat at Goodison Park since the 2010-11 season in the Premier League. So Liverpool will be hoping they can finish at Goodison Park a lot better than last season's record was.
So 1 each in the derbies in terms of wins last season. We'll hope for better, especially obviously at Goodison, as Mike said.
We're going to have to show that footage now.
I think we might have to.
Unfortunately, we are. Yeah, well, the home game was the first game, and it was 2 goals from Salah. It was late on, actually. You know, it was a bit of a frustrating game for long periods. Ashley Young getting sent off, and rightly so, right in the stroke of half-time. But yeah, I mean, we had to be patient in this game. Everton made it difficult for us, but we kept going. First one being obviously the penalty. Referee didn't want to give it. There we go. Craig Pawson likes to rely on VAR. Let's hope we don't have the same problems with VAR again this season. But rightly given the penalty. Salah against Pickford, only one outcome, wasn't it? In the back of the net. So that was about 15 minutes to go, that opening goal. And then we had to wait really late on, almost added on time in the end to get this second one. Elliott hits almost the bar, wasn't it? A really good save from Jordan Pickford there. So it was maybe closer than we thought, because Everton did give us a decent game, but one of those breakaways from Liverpool, this time we tucked it away nicely. Núñez into Salah. So that was something we've been accustomed to, beating Everton. This one wasn't. This one was probably one of our worst performances of the season. I think we have to say, a week earlier, we'd just been knocked out of Europe by Atalanta in the Europa League. The Premier League felt like it was going to be a lot harder. The gap had increased to City and Arsenal. So this wasn't a defining game for the title race, but yeah, I mean, Everton were the better side on the night. We missed a big chance at a key moment. You know, maybe the momentum turns if we score that one with Darwin Núñez to get the equaliser. Another chance as well. You know, again, if we get the equaliser, it may have changed things completely. That was for Diaz on that occasion. And then in the end, the second one was from a set piece. I'm sure that'll be a strength again for Everton this season. Set pieces under Sean Dyche. And it was a big win for them because it meant that we'd be safe. So hopefully we don't have a repeat. Last game at Goodison, we won't miss that place, will we?
Not indeed. Let's move on and speak about Manchester United, Mike, because obviously the 2 games against United last year, memorable for the sheer number of shots Liverpool had in these matches.
Yeah, 62 shots across the 2 games against Manchester United combined last season. It was 34 at home and then the 28 away from home for Liverpool, but didn't win either game. So this time, going to have to be a bit more clinical to get 3 points against Manchester United.
And Neil, just 1 point from those fixtures last season, which was really hard to swallow. Hopefully better this time round.
Yeah, it's one of those games, both games, the one at Anfield, the one at Old Trafford. How have we not beaten these? We were miles better than them, finished way over 20 points ahead of them in the Premier League. This one was frustrating. We had over 30 shots. We didn't have that many clear-cut chances. As much as we dominated this game, we were the better side. These were about as good as it got for chances. But it was one of those where United just under pressure all game. And in the end, they saw it out. They had to ride the luck a lot of times, a few blocks, that sort of thing, straight at the goalkeeper. You're thinking anywhere else, it's the back of the net. So that felt like it was 2 points dropped. Good point for United. This one was worse for me. I was at Old Trafford. This was almost a great start. Good save to deny Sobersley on that occasion. United celebrated this draw like they'd won the game, and that showed you where they were and where we were. We went in front, decent start. United hadn't even threatened, a gift of an equalising goal. It got the crowd going as well because United wanted to beat us. But what about this for a chance? 1-1, get ourselves back in front, just quieten Old Trafford down. We didn't. And that was something that affected us, not just in this fixture, but other games as well. Missed chances, which proved costly in terms of the outcome of results. I mean, Mainu, young talent at United, gets them that goal. Big chance again, Salah to equalise it. It just felt like one of those games. We did get the equaliser, and this was a penalty. You can see the referee well positioned, good decision. So you're thinking at this point, this was late on in the game, we get the equalising goal. Can we go on and win it? And I think there was one last chance, wasn't there, for Diaz in the end, which he put over. Here we go, this was that last chance. It just wasn't to be. But we were miles ahead of Manchester United last season. We really were.
Yeah.
So to draw in both games was really frustrating.
Yeah, both of those games frustrating for very different reasons, I think. Let's take a look rather at the two against Manchester City, champions, of course, Mike, and they've got to be favourites to retain that again next season.
You'd think so. Certainly with Pep Guardiola still at the club, they're always going to be there or thereabouts. And last season, of course, 2 draws against Manchester City. Liverpool have only won 1 of the last 9 Premier League games against Manchester City. That was the Salah winner in the 22-23 season, so not really a great season for Liverpool all told. And at the Etihad, Liverpool haven't won there in the Premier League since Klopp's very first game there in the 2015-16 season. So a poor record recently against Manchester City, no doubt due to the quality that they have, to be fair.
Yeah, as Mike said, 2-1 all draws last season. Mels, you're going to talk us through these. They're all such fiercely fought games, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought the 1-1 draw at their place was a decent point. I felt as though City were now very strong at home. Felt like this was a decent one, knowing we had the second game at Anfield to come, which felt like an advantage. Obviously, they get themselves in front with that Haaland goal, but it was a good response from Liverpool. We all remember this celebration, but it was a lovely goal as well, wasn't it, from Trent? Another assist from Salah into that far corner. A famous celebration. So that felt like a good point. And first half against City at Anfield, we didn't play particularly well. We have to say that. We weren't really at our best. City, I mean, that was a nearly moment for us. Conor Bradley did really well. City went in front with a cleverly worked set piece, 1-0, but the response second half from Liverpool was absolutely outstanding. Early on, there were some people not even sat in the seats when we got the penalty. That's how early that penalty was, second half. McAllister slots it away. It was relentless pressure. And if there was ever going to be a side to win it, it was going to be us. But big chances, mentioned it already, that was something that affected our season. Another big chance there, Luis Diaz getting on the end of it. That was a decent save, I think you would say, at close range. Comes back off the post, forgot about that Doku one, yes, so City nearly won it. This was the big moment, wasn't it? And we've all heard the audio from VAR. It's just a bad decision. It's a bad decision from the referee, the officials, VAR. That should have been a penalty, 94th minute, a chance to have won the game. That would have been massive for the title race. It really would have been what might have been.
Yeah, it's always so hard to take points off City, isn't it? Well, we will be hoping to take points, of course, as the newly promoted teams. Here are the dates for those games against the new boys to the Premier League. So Ipswich, as we know, up first, then at Anfield, January the 25th. It's Southampton away, 23rd of November. Home at Anfield on the 8th of March. And then Leicester is the home game on Boxing Day, actually, and away April the 19th. Smells there's 2 established Premier League teams really there, and Southampton and Leicester. Obviously, as we said, Ipswich not been in the top flight for some time. How do you see those faring?
Well, last year we saw saw 3 newly promoted teams all get relegated. I don't think that will happen. I think, like you say, Southampton, Leicester, a little bit of a surprise they got relegated. I think they will be strong. Leicester have had to change the manager themselves this season. Last season was better away from home. At home, I fancy us, of course, always strong. Last season was better. We only dropped points away at Luton. And so we did well against those newly promoted sides. It was different the season before. They're going to be 3 tough away games, so hopefully we don't drop too many points in those ones.
Yeah, we're going to speak to you about the least favourite opponents in a moment, Mike, but just in terms of newly promoted sides, how do Liverpool generally fare against them?
Well, under Klopp, the win rate against promoted teams, it was exactly 75%, in fact, and over the last 6 seasons, it was 75%. So 3 wins in 4, that equates to, as Neil mentioned, I think there can be a big discrepancy in home and away. You know, last season it was away where the only time Liverpool did drop points, and the season before that Liverpool didn't win away at any of the promoted teams. So yeah, but 75% is the overall win rate, but the Anfield record does help that. Yeah,
well, I said we're going to speak about least favourite opponents. Yeah. So despite those 11 goals that we saw earlier on, that is because Ipswich actually are one of those teams.
Yeah, it might surprise a few seeing bang 11 goals against them in one season last time, but they do feature in this list of the teams at Liverpool, the current Premier League opponents at Liverpool have the lowest points per game record against. Man United at the lowest. Now, Man United are the only team in this list who Liverpool have lost to more than they've beaten in the Premier League, and you can see Ipswich down there, 5 wins in 10, so only that 50% win ratio. But let's take a bit more of a positive look as well, and we can look at Liverpool's most favourite opponents of the current set of 20 teams in the Premier League. Wolves at the top, 16 wins in 20 games is a remarkable record. Bournemouth, who Liverpool have scored a phenomenal amount of goals against over the year, I think it's 43 goals in those 14 games. Brentford in there as well, West Ham, Crystal Palace. So those are the fixtures where maybe Slot can look at and think, well, generally we do well in those games.
Okay, January obviously has been a poor month historically, hasn't it? This time round, though, we've got Forest, Brentford and Bournemouth away and Ipswich at home. Talk us through how that might pan out.
Yeah, so if we can actually look at the month-by-month record for Liverpool in the Premier League, it became such a thing under Klopp how Liverpool tended to struggle in January, just after that Christmas period. And it wasn't just Klopp, clearly, because this was a feature of Liverpool in Premier League history. It is the lowest month for Liverpool in terms of points per game. You can see March at the top there, but December, the busiest month. You can see how many more games there are in December that Liverpool played in Premier League history than, well, any other month, and it does feature well. So Liverpool tend to do well in that busy festive period. August, we talked about the start of the season, that's up there and how important that is, so it's good to see August in that list, but yeah, it's so often the January blues.
Okay, let's just take a look at the Christmas fixtures then, because everyone wants a happy Christmas, don't they? And for me, these are one of the first fixtures, the Boxing Day fixtures. Everyone looks at that. And let's just take a look at the 4 games over the festive period. So it's Spurs, Leicester, West Ham, and then Manchester United just into the start of 2025. How do you see that panning out? There's definitely some tricky games in there.
Yeah, there is. It's nice to be at home for Boxing Day. I think the last couple have been away. Burnley last year, was it Villa the year before as well. So we've got Leicester at home for that one. You're looking at Spurs thinking they might be improved from last season. They may well be in the mix for top 4. United, always a big game to look forward to. So yeah, some potentially tough games there. You've got to remember as well, there's a lot of games in December, isn't there? Think of Champions League football, you think of maybe if we're going further in the League Cup as well. So there could be a case of having to rotate the squad, and hopefully we have a little bit of luck with injuries this season. In fact, we had a lot of injuries last season, and with games in quick succession, the way that Leicester and West Ham come about, may have to rotate a few.
Yeah, and there's no winter break, of course, in the Premier League this season as well. So you think about injuries, that's always a factor, isn't it, at that time of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, disruptions. World Cup, wasn't it, a couple of seasons ago? We had the AFCON last year, the winter break. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games sort of December and January time, and it's obviously Baltic as well. So you're thinking you're having to rotate the squad and hope that injuries are kind to us last season. I mentioned Alisson missed 10 games, Trent missed 10 games, Andy Robertson missed loads, Jota missed loads, Thiago, Matip. A lot of injuries last season, so hopefully we get a bit of luck for that one.
Yeah, and quite a lot of travelling for the fans as well, back and forth to London within the space of just about a week. And what about the run-in? This is always the one everyone looks out for as well. And this, you've got to say, it looks pretty tough this season. Let's take a look at how Liverpool end this season, the last 6 fixtures. It's Tottenham, Chelsea and Arsenal, all within those final final 6 games. That's maybe not the running we would have designed for ourselves, Wells.
Well, we want to be in the mix, don't we? We want to be in the mix. We want to be competing for hopefully the title again this year. I think if you're looking at all those teams, Arsenal are the strongest. You know, I expect them again to be right at it this season, so that'll be a tough game. It's nice that it's at home rather than away. Spurs, I think they will be improved. Not really sure whether they'll be good enough to compete for the title. So you're looking at Spurs, Chelsea and Arsenal and thinking, tough games. How will Brighton be without De Zerbi this season? Will they be as strong? I'm not sure, but it's always good to finish at home. Crystal Palace, they'll probably be 13th or 14th again in the Premier League table, won't they? So maybe not a great deal to play for. They did actually beat us last season. Shouldn't have done. We had missed chances again in that game. It does look tough on paper, but let's hope we're in the mix to have some big games there to look forward to.
How do you assess that one, Mike?
Yeah, it's true. Obviously, the Palace at home last season was a bad result. So hopefully, yeah, if Palace much improved under Glasner, to be fair, but we'll see how they fare this season. But yeah, maybe that's a tough end though with the Tottenham, Chelsea, and the Arsenal fixtures all in a row.
Yeah, it certainly is. How about the final day, firstly, as well? I'm sure you've all looked at it already, but if the title does go to the final day of the season, this right here is what we will be looking at. Liverpool, as we say, at home to Crystal Palace. City, they go to Fulham on the final day of the season. Arsenal are at Southampton, and Manchester United take on Aston Villa. You're raising your eyebrows at the thought of Manchester United being involved in the final title.
I'm surprised you mentioned them actually, but no, I mean, let's hope it's in our own hands. You know, it'd be great, wouldn't it, to go to that last game of the season knowing it is in our own hands. Fulham away for City, potentially a tough game, but we expect them to win that one. And Arsenal away at Southampton, they may well be in a relegation battle, maybe down at that point. So yeah, if it's in our own hands, fancy our chances. Expect City and Arsenal to win those games.
OK, Mike has been doing some digging finally on the boss. His record coming towards the end of seasons now. What have you found out? It's
another really positive record here. If we look at his record over the last 6 games, we looked at his time at Feyenoord, where he won the league, of course, 2022-23. Look how well he tends to end the season. Only 2 defeats in 18 games combined in this list last season. Sadly, PSV were absolutely incredible last season, ran away winners, but won all those last 6 games. And then you've got to remember in his first season he had to run all the way to the Conference League final and still managed to win 4 of the last 6 games. So yeah, generally tends to end the season pretty well.
OK, Mels, in terms of the new boss, the start, you know, it will take time, of course, to bed in. You won't find a more educated fan base than Liverpool supporters, and they will be more than ready to give him that time.
Everyone will be behind him. You know, we hear the Jurgen Klopp singing his name. The fans will get right behind the new manager. It could be a disruptive summer, you know, with the Euros, with the Copa America as well, sort of hoping the Liverpool players come back all fully fit and maybe don't go too far in those competitions so we can have a proper pre-season. So the manager can get his ideas across, transfers, ins, out. We got 4 in last summer, so there'll be a lot of speculation. I just hope everyone can come back fully fit and start working with the new manager. And I quite like those opening fixtures. Yes, United away, but looking at the opening fixtures, let's get off to a good start and enjoy the season under the new manager. OK, let's just run you through again. If you missed the top of the show, the entire 38 fixtures for Liverpool this season. So it starts with an away trip to Ipswich Town at Portman Road. Then it's Brentford at home, Manchester United away, Old Trafford very early on in the season. Nottingham Forest at home, Bournemouth at home, then 2 away trips to Wolves and Crystal Palace. Then it's Chelsea at home, followed by a trip to the Emirates, Arsenal away on the 26th of October. Then the Reds take on Brighton on the 2nd of November at Anfield. Then it's Aston Villa at home, Southampton away, Manchester City. The first meeting with them this season is at home on the 30th of November. Then Liverpool go to Newcastle at the start of December. It's Everton away, the final Merseyside derby ever to be played at Goodison on the 7th of December. Then it's Fulham at home on the 14th, Tottenham away, Leicester City at home on Boxing Day for Liverpool this year. Then it's West Ham away and Manchester United at home kicking off 2025. Nottingham Forest away on the 14th of January, then it's Brentford away, Ipswich at home, Bournemouth away, Wolves at home, Manchester City. The second meeting with them of the season is on the 22nd of February at the Etihad. Then Newcastle at home, Southampton at home, Aston Villa away and Everton, the second Merseyside derby of the season at the start of April.
Then it's Fulham away, West Ham United at home, Leicester City away, Tottenham Hotspur at home, Chelsea away on the 3rd of May. Then potentially a very big one is Arsenal at Anfield on the 10th of May. Brighton away on the 18th and Crystal Palace at home at Anfield, finishing the season on the 25th of May. And that is it from us for now. Enjoy the summer and don't forget you can watch all the pre-season games live right here on LFC TV. We are very excited for it. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.